Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something pretty fundamental for any business that wants to stick around. Why do customers say no?
Mm,
And maybe more importantly, how can we use things like market research to maybe flip those no's into a yes down the line?
exactly. It's crucial.
We're pulling insights from a cognitive market research piece by Kalyani Raja. It came out last November, and it really digs into customer rejection.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So our aim here isn't just to say customers say no sometimes. We want to get into the reasons, and see how research can help businesses, well, close that gap between what they offer and what people actually want.
Right. We're moving beyond just acknowledging rejection. It's about
Yeah.
dissecting it, finding those specific friction points. Is it the price? Is it something else?
Is it the experience?
Exactly. We'll look at pricing, how listening to feedback helps, even how knowing your competition plays into it. It's all about minimizing those no's for, long-term health.
Okay, let's dive in then. So the core idea seems to be this mismatch, right? Between customer expectations and what the business is actually putting out there.
That's the fundamental reason. Yeah. It sounds simple, but the devil's in the details.
So what are some of those details? What are the big reasons someone might walk away?
Well, the article really highlights a few key areas.
Mm.
Pricing is often right at the top,
No surprise there.
right? But it's not just the number. It's about perceived value. Do I feel like this price matches what I'm getting?
Mm-hmm.
If that equation doesn't balance in the customer's head, they start looking elsewhere, for something cheaper or something that just feels like a better deal for them.
Yeah, like you see something and think, okay, that's nice, but not that nice for that price. Makes sense. What else besides cost?
Relevance is another big one. Huge, actually.
How so?
Well, if a customer needs, say, running shoes and you only sell hiking boots.
Doesn't matter how good the boots are.
Exactly. If your product or service doesn't directly address the specific need or desire they have right then, the chance of a sale just plummets. They lose interest fast if it's not relevant.
Okay, so price value, relevance. What's next?
Trust. This one's critical. Customers have so many choices today, they're naturally a bit wary, aren't they?
Definitely.
If they're unsure about your brand's reliability, or maybe the quality of your product seems iffy, they hesitate.
Mm-hmm.
So things like transparency and just consistently good experiences, those are vital for building that trust so they don't just say no out of uncertainty.
Yeah, why gamble if you don't have to?
Huh.
Okay, and the article mentioned one more major barrier,
The actual customer experience itself.
like the process of buying.
Yeah, or even just finding information. Think about like a really confusing website or trying to get help and nobody responds.
Oh, yeah. Infuriating.
Right. Or a checkout process that's just clunky. These things create friction. And if a competitor offers a smoother ride, customers will often take it. Businesses really need to streamline that whole journey.
Make it easy, basically. Remove the hurdles. The source actually had a fast fact on this. Said customer-centric businesses are like 60% more profitable.
Wow. Yeah, that says it all, doesn't it?
It really hammers home why you can't just ignore these things.
Absolutely. And it leads us right into the next point. Okay, we know why they might say no, but how do we figure out which reason applies to us? That's when market research comes in. It's not just guesswork.
Right. So how does research act as that investigative tool? How does it help pinpoint the real reasons behind the no?
Well, market research gives you that structure, for collecting actual data. It digs into customer preferences, what they actually do, their behaviors, how they see your brand versus others,
Yeah.
and the factors that really tip their decisions. Methods like surveys can give you numbers on how people feel about pricing, for instance.
Quantify it.
Exactly. And then things like focus groups can give you that richer sort of qualitative insight, why they feel that way, what they really expect. The article mentions both.
So you're getting direct feedback, not just looking at sales slumps and guessing why. It helps you find that gap, right, between your perception and their reality.
Precisely. And it's not just about looking inwards at your own customers. Market research also shines a light on the competition.
Ah, okay. How does that work?
It lets you analyze what others are doing, their products, their pricing, the experience they offer. It gives you that sort of map of the whole playing field.
Right. If you don't know what alternatives your customers are seeing, you're flying blind a bit.
Totally. And knowing that helps you figure out your own strengths and weaknesses in comparison.
So how does that knowledge help turn things around?
It allows for strategic adjustments. Maybe you realize your product needs a feature that a competitor has, and customers love it.
Or your marketing isn't clear enough.
Exactly. Or maybe your pricing just isn't competitive for the value you offer compared to them. This information lets you fine-tune your approach, realign your tactics, as the article puts it.
So it's like a feedback loop, learn, adjust, improve. You mentioned trust earlier, too. Can research help identify those trust issues specifically?
Definitely. Research can uncover the specific doubts people have. Is it data security? Is it worries about after-sales support?
Hmm.
Once you know the specific barrier, you can address it directly, maybe through testimonials, stronger guarantees, clearer policies, whatever fits.
So target the actual concern. Don't just say, trust us. It feels like research helps you move from being a rejection, to being proactive, building something customers actually want.
That's exactly it. You shift from just reacting to no to understanding why it happened and then strategically building towards a yes. Now, speaking of big drivers, price. Let's dig into that a bit more. The article really stresses its impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Price isn't just a number. It sends a strong signal, doesn't it? How does it shape that perception of value?
Well, often it's the first filter. If a price feels too high for what's being offered, the quality, the benefits, the whole package, it immediately creates a negative feeling.
Right. That's way too much for that.
Precisely. And that leads to rejection, or at least hesitation. Especially, when there are lots of other options out there that seem better priced.
And this isn't the same for everyone, is it? The article mentioned different customer groups react differently.
That's a really key point. Some customers are super budget focused. Price is almost everything. But others might prioritize quality or convenience, maybe even brand status, and they're actually willing to pay more for that.
So you need to know who you're talking to.
Absolutely. If your pricing doesn't match the priorities and, frankly, the budget of your target audience, you risk pushing them away and creating a negative view of your brand.
It's a balancing act. And it's not just the price tag itself, but how you show it.
Yes. Presentation matters hugely. Think about discounts or special offers. They create urgency, make it feel like better value.
Makes you feel smart for getting a deal.
Right. But on the flip side, unclear pricing, or those nasty hidden fees that pop up at the end.
Ugh, hate those.
Everyone does. They just kill trust and satisfaction instantly.
Mm.
People will abandon their cart right there.
Okay, so the main takeaway on prices.
It's about strategic alignment. Your pricing needs to match what your specific target audience expects and can afford. And crucially, you need to clearly communicate the value they're getting for that price. Market research helps you understand all of that.
Makes total sense. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. We've talked about avoiding rejection. How can market research actively help build stronger customer relationships and make a brand more visible?
They're really two sides of the same coin, and research is fundamental to both. When you systematically dig into what customers prefer, what they need, how they perceive things, you can tailor everything.
Like the products themselves.
Yes, develop products that actually resonate, but also tailor your communication, how you talk about those products.
Okay.
When customers feel like, hey, this company gets me, and they see their needs reflected, that builds a real connection, loyalty.
It's about feeling heard. And I guess research also helps you figure out what makes people happy or unhappy with you currently.
Exactly. It's like a diagnostic. Find the pain points causing frustration, but also find out what you're doing right, what people love.
And then do less of the bad stuff, more of the good stuff.
Pretty much. Address the negatives, amplify the positives.
Yeah.
Use surveys, feedback forms, focus groups, keep listening. It shows you're committed to improving, which strengthens that bond.
Right. And how does that translate to brand visibility? Getting noticed?
Well, if your marketing is based on real insights about your audience, their interests, their values, your message is just going to hit harder,
Instead of generic advertising.
Exactly. Relevant messaging cuts through the clutter. It connects on a deeper level. That means more engagement, better brand awareness, staying top of mind when they're ready to buy.
So understanding your customer helps you talk to them more effectively, which gets you noticed more. Can research also find new places to be visible? New markets?
Oh, absolutely. It can uncover underserved segments or maybe new needs emerging that nobody's addressing well yet.
Finding opportunities.
Right. Jumping on those insights lets you expand strategically, increase your market penetration, boost your visibility. It all feeds back into growth, stronger relationships, better market presence, long-term success.
Okay, that's powerful. So building on that, let's talk about the competition again. How can digging into what they're doing give you an edge?
Oh, competitor analysis through market research is incredibly valuable. You look at their products, their pricing, even what their customers are saying about them. And it gives you a really clear picture of the market landscape and where you fit in. What are customers in this space responding to? Where are the benchmarks?
It's like getting intelligence reports from the field. How do you use that info to get ahead?
Well, it gives you a solid basis for your own decisions.
Hmm.
Product development, marketing. You can spot gaps
Yeah,
your competitors aren't filling.
and jump in.
Maybe. Or you see they've launched a feature that's getting rave reviews, and you think, okay, how can we offer something similar or even better? It's about learning from what's working and what isn't out there.
So, observing and adapting. The article mentioned benchmarking against leaders, too. What's the point there?
Benchmarking helps you see where the bar is set. You compare your own value proposition, what you offer for the price, against the top players.
See how you stack up.
Right. Where are you strong? Where do you need to improve? And looking at why customers like or dislike competitor products, that's gold. It tells you what matters most in your market. You can then refine your own stuff to meet or beat those standards. That drives satisfaction, drives loyalty.
It's about learning from the best to be your best, and knowing their pricing and messaging helps too.
Hugely. Understanding competitor pricing helps you position yourself. Are you the budget option, the premium choice, something else?
Right.
And seeing how they talk about their value helps you sharpen your own marketing messages, make them more compelling, more persuasive to your target audience.
So it's informed strategy, not just copying. Okay, let's bring it home. We want to keep the customers we win. How does understanding feedback through research drive customer retention?
It's fundamental. When you actively seek out and, more importantly, analyze customer opinions, you get honest insights. What's working well? What's falling short?
Direct from the source.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that allows you to make targeted improvements, fix the things that aren't working, enhance the things they like, meet or exceed their expectations.
And the article stressed fixing the pain points. That seems key for retention.
Oh, absolutely critical. Research helps you identify those common frustrations. Maybe it's product glitches, confusing pricing, slow service, whatever keeps tripping customers up.
Mm-hmm.
When you act quickly to smooth out those bumps, you create a much better experience. People appreciate that. It builds loyalty, makes them much more likely to buy again.
Makes sense. Fix their problems, they stick around. And just the act of listening and responding builds trust, doesn't it?
Tremendously. When customers feel like you're actually listening, that their feedback matters and leads to real change, it deepens their connection to the brand.
Hmm.
Plus, understanding that feedback lets you tailor things more. Personalize offers, improve services in ways that matter to them. It makes them feel valued, not just like another transaction.
Like they're part of the process. And doing this continuously seems important.
Essential. Market research for retention isn't a one-off thing. You need ongoing ways to listen surveys, feedback channels, social media monitoring.
Keep your finger on the pulse.
Precisely. It shows you're committed to improving all the time. This cycle lets you adapt as customer needs change, which is how you sustain high retention long term.
So really, that initial no isn't an endpoint. If you use research to understand the why, it's actually a starting point for getting better.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's not a failure, it's data. It's an opportunity to learn, adapt, build stronger connections, better products, and ultimately, a more successful business.
This has been really illuminating. Understanding rejection isn't just about damage control, it's about strategic growth. Okay, for our final thought today. Think about the last time your business, or maybe one you follow closely, got a no from a customer. Based on everything we've discussed, what specific insight might explain that rejection, and what's one market research step you could take to start paving the way for a yes next time? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.